Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Build Guide. So today we're checking out a build specifically made for the latest PvP map Spirit Watch. So if you're unfamiliar with this map, you can check out last week's build guide where we went over an orb carrier build. So the idea is there's an orb on this map and it spawns every 10 seconds or so after it's been capped. You take this orb to one of the capture points and you score points for it. It's worth quite a lot of points at the moment. Whether that will change or not is up for debate, but at the moment it's a very, very important part of the map and I think it's going to stay fairly important. So we need some builds that are going to work with this. Last week we looked at an orb carrier build, so it's designed to actually pick the orb up and run with it and get it to one of the nodes as fast as possible so you can score the points as quickly as possible. But of course you need to be able to stop the enemy team from doing this and also support your own teammate in actually capping it. So that's what this build's all about. So unlike the last one where it was all about speedily just grabbing the orb and just getting out as fast as possible, this one needs to do two roles. Firstly, you want to be able to shut down the enemy orb carrier. So if they beat you to the orb or they get out first or something like that, this build's going to be really, really good at stopping them in their tracks, pushing them off course, getting them out of the way, making it very difficult for them to do it, and giving your teammates a chance to recover and actually help you defeat the enemy. It's not really a killing build so much. It's got some power, but it's not really designed to kill, but it's more designed to just keep someone tied down for quite a while. The second role of this build is to actually support your teammate who's carrying the orb. So when your teammate's got the orb, they're fairly defenseless. I mean, the build we covered last week was pretty good. It's pretty fast, it's pretty mobile. But if they get caught by an immobilise or shut down in some way, they are going to be in trouble. And this build will also help to support them a bit. It's got some abilities that are going to help you to do that effectively. So first up, let's take a quick look at our weapon set. So first of all, we've got the rifle. This gives us a cripple there on the number 2, 8-second cooldown, 5-second cripple, and it's also going to apply an immobilization because of the way we got it traded. So that's going to give us some pretty useful utility out of that for helping us chase down opponents. So if someone's at range, you can fire that with them and then close the gap on them. While you're closing the gap, you can be using volley, so that's going to apply a reasonably large amount of damage, and that's going to help as well. And then we've got brutal shot there, which applies a 10 seconds of vulnerability. A 5-second vulnerability going to increase the damage they're going to take by 5%. So that's going to basically allow your teammates to deal more damage when they come to help you in shutting them down. And we've also got a knockback there on the number 5. Now knockbacks are a hugely important part of this map, especially for shutting down orb carriers. We'll go into why a little bit later when we get into the gameplay, but basically there's lots of ramps and bridges and stuff like that we can knock players off. Over in our second weapon set, we've got a hammer. So this again is giving us a cripple and another knockback, both on reasonably short cooldowns. We also get a weakness there as well, which is going to reduce their endurance regeneration, meaning they're not going to be able to dodge as much. That's going to be useful because you dodge at full speed even when you're carrying the orb. So the less they can dodge, the better for us, really. We also get a knockdown there as well. We also get Earthshaker, which is a fantastically powerful ability as our burst skill. It's a gap closer as well as a 2-second stun if you're using it on max level, and it's an AoE stun and a blast finisher. So yeah, absolutely brilliant skill around there. The burst skill over on the rifle is kill shot. So again, a very powerful skill, but we don't want to be focusing too much on this. Kill shot is going to deal damage, but we're not a particularly high damage build. We pack quite a bit of power. We can kill people. I mean, it's not going to be out of our abilities, but we're not like a high burst damage build. Burst damage builds tend to suffer quite badly on this map. I found the very high damage thieves and warriors tend to get shut down pretty quickly. So we're not focusing too much on our damage, but that is going to be a way to dish it out if we want to finish someone off from range. Now for our utility skills on our heal, for the heal we're going with mending. You could go elsewhere with this if you'd like. I don't really recommend it too much, but you can do if you prefer. If you have got a heal, for some reason you think it's going to be better, it's up to you. Utility skills, we've got Fear Me. Now Fear is again a hugely powerful skill on this map. You're fearing someone, they lose complete control of their character and they run directly away from you. So good positioning basically means you can push people off ledges, push them off the ramps and stuff like that using that skill. It's also great if you actually got a down player, so if your orb carrier's gone down or something like that and you want to revive them, you can go and start reviving them and then trigger the shout when they go to finish off the player. So it forces everyone away from them. We also got 2 physical skills here, so we've got kick and throw bowlers. Throw bowlers is in a 4-second immobilization. That's a pretty long time on a 20-second cooldown. And we also got kick there as well, so again another knockback. Not a particularly long range one, and there's a little bit of a channel time on this. It's about half a second, which can occasionally cause you to miss. So it's often worth maybe using some sort of immobilization or having them crippled or something before you are using kick. Lastly, for the elite skill, the Signet of Rage. So this skill actually becomes a really key part of this build, and we'll go into that in the traits in a moment. But sorry, the traits and the runes and all that all make this quite an important skill. But basically, this is going to give us nearly constant swiftness and a lot of fury up time and a lot of might up time. So for our rune choices, we've gone with the superior runes of Lissa. These are giving us precision and also increased condition duration, which is going to be useful. That's going to boost up the time of those cripples and those immobilizations. They're going to last a bit longer. We also get, when you use a healing skill, you gain a random boon for 10 seconds. Bear in mind, protection and retaliation are reduced to 5 seconds in PvP when that triggers, but that's still quite a long time to get protection up for. 5 seconds is quite a big boost if you do get lucky and happen to get that. And we also get, when you use an elite skill, lose all conditions and gain all boons for 5 seconds. So this is going to be a big difference. That's basically going to turn the Signet of Rage into a lot longer duration on the Swiftness and Fury, so we're going to have nearly constant uptime on that. It also turns that into a condition removal skill, which is something we were lacking really. I mean, we had Mending, and this is why you can change Mending for something else if you prefer, because you have now got the condition removal there. It's going to give you really constant uptime on Swiftness and Fury as well. It's also a great way to get a pile of boons if you think you're going to get in trouble, you want protection up or something like that if you start getting focused. So great little rune choice there, works really well with the rest of the build. In the rifle, we've gone with 30% chance on critical to cause a lightning strike. So this could be something else if you preferred it to be. The single target attack though does work quite well and can dish out quite a lot of damage, that lightning strike. Over in the hammer, we've got freeze nearby foes for 3 seconds when you swap to this weapon while in combat. So this is basically just another means of CCing people. It's just when you're swapping into the weapon, it's actually going to freeze them for 3 seconds, which is a 66% movement reduction speed. It also reduces the cooldown, increases the cooldown on their abilities. Now, over for the amulet, we've gone with PvP Soldier's Amulet of a Shaman's Jewel. So you could go with a Soldier's Amulet, Soldier's Jewel inside as well if you wanted, but I prefer getting that extra bit of toughness. The condition damage doesn't get wasted because we do have the bleeding there on the auto attack with the rifle, and the healing helps a little bit as well on there with the Mending. But I just really went for that for the extra toughness because the health pool was reasonable. We need to get much higher, but getting that extra 50 toughness there made a big difference, I felt. So for our trait choices, we've gone 0, 25, 20, 10, 15. So 25 points in arms gives us 33% chance to cause bleeding on critical hits. Burst skills have a 10% increased critical chance and increased damage to bleeding foes by 10%. So we went this a little bit further to get this one here, just because you are going to be applying the bleed through bleeding shot, and we also chose this bleed apply. You apply lasts 50% longer as well to make it last a bit longer, so we can get a bit more damage out that way. Just basically boosts up our damage a little bit, not a huge amount, but it does help because you do need to be able to kill the person 1v1 if the moment arises where you need to do it. The burst skill one does help a little bit as well with our rifle attack, making that a little bit more powerful. Rifle and harpoon gun skills pierce, which is quite useful because a lot of the angles on this are, like I said, are over bridges, so it's quite a thin line of fire. So you're actually firing down quite a thin lane, so you are often able to hit more than one opponent with your rifle shots. It also reduces the recharge rate of them by 20%, meaning we can get more of these rifle butts off. 20 points in defense, giving us extra thick armor, so you gain extra health when above 90, extra armor when you're above 90% HP, which is helpful. Not a massive difference, of course, but a bit of extra toughness doesn't go amiss. Gain 200 toughness when crippled, chilled, stunned, or immobilized. So crippled, chilled, stunned, and immobilized are really prevalent on this map. And of course, if you are fighting someone who's playing a similar build to you, which is likely because they're going to be supporting their orb carrier and trying to shut your orb carrier down, so you're going to enter combat with them, they're going to be applying cripples, chills, stuns, and immobilizations on you. So this is going to help us out a little bit there, make us a bit tougher to kill while they've got them on us. Regenerate health based on your adrenaline levels. That's not a really big thing. I mean, it's going to give us a little bit of boost in health, but not huge. Hammer damage is increased by 25% when a foe is disabled and reduces the recharge of hammer skills by 20%. So this is why our cooldown reductions are quite short really, actually, most of our hammer skills. I mean, we've got the knockback there on 16 seconds, which isn't a hell of a lot of time at all when you actually think of the kick one there. As an AoE knockback as well, so bear that in mind, kick is more just like a conal. I think it fires at like anyone sort of directly in front of you. So that's going to help a little bit there. 25% increased damage is actually quite a lot, but obviously they're not disabled for a huge amount of time. There are builds you can do where you actually change out one of these utility skills for Frenzy or something like that. We covered it a while ago. I believe we called it the Bleeding Hammer Warrior build, and basically you used a knockdown abilities followed by Frenzy, and it would basically almost work like the Great Sword Warrior build, where you'd lock someone in place and use 100 blades, whereas this would work by just chaining all the knockbacks and knockdowns and stuns you get with the hammer into one big combination and dealing a massive amount of damage very quickly. 10 points in tactics gives us 5 toughness when per level while reviving, so that's going to make us a bit more powerful when we're actually reviving our teammates, which is useful because the orb carrier will likely go down at some point in the game, and that way it can help us get them back up a little bit quicker. And apply a 1 second immobilize whenever you cripple a target. So this is important. Obviously we've got this AoE cripple here with hammer shock and the single target one there with aim shot. That's just a way for us to slow them down even more. It's just going to stop them directly in place for a second, and then they're still going to be crippled for a few seconds after that as well. 15 points in discipline, gain 5 strikes of adrenaline on weapon swap, so that's going to boost up this adrenaline a little bit faster, and weapon swapping recharge is 5 seconds faster, so that's a really powerful trait in the warrior setup. It's very, very strong to be able to swap your weapons out that often. Do bear in mind though, if you do decide to switch out the sigils a little bit, this 5-second recharge can make a difference on the on swap sigils, as they have a 9-second recharge and they won't trigger over the top of each other, so do keep that in mind. For the actual major trait, we want signets recharge 20% faster to make this happen a little bit more, so we could get the condition removal out of it. Now there is the other option here as well, where you can go for a run faster while wielding melee weapons, making you move a little bit quicker when you're running around with a hammer. I tend to find though that when I'm actually moving from point to point and not actually engaged in direct combat with the orb carrier, I'm more using a rifle anyway, because I'm fighting from range against most players. I'm not really in the hammer that often unless I'm in the middle of combat, so it's not really all that useful, and I found the extra condition removal uptime from that was more important, and it also gives you the boon uptime even more because you've got more chance of having it up constantly if you wanted to. We've got a couple of clips of gameplay now, so we're going to get into that. So we've been having a little skirmish against these two players here at the moment, trying to stop them picking up the orb. Quite outnumbered, but we managed to hold our own and tried to stop them for a while. At this moment though, the Mesmo goes and grabs the orb, and now we've got to try and stop them. So we open up with our burst skill, for the stun, trying to cause him some problems. We start following up the staircase, we know that's where he's headed, so we can knock him down even though he's stealth there. We try to bank to the side and hit him with a fear bomb to push him over the ledge. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get him completely over the ledge before it wore out, but we managed to cause some problems from him. Keeping up cripple as much as possible, trying to get those immobilizations as well from that trait, slowing down even more. There we banked to the side of him and used kick to knock him off the edge. Unfortunately, we were obstructed for our number 2 skill on the rifle, which would have immobilized and crippled him again. So that's meant he's managed to get up there a little bit quicker than we wanted to. He's still on pretty low HP, he's already used his heal as well, so between us and this thief teammate we should easily be able to finish him off now. Comes back at our stealth again. Notice how we're just moving up the staircase constantly. We know that's where he's headed. It's quite easy to predict where an orb carrier is going to be moving to, even if they are using stealth from traits and things like that. So he actually gets taken down, and we can pick up the orb and then run it up towards the central node and cap the points for it. So this clip's right at the start of the game, and we've actually just can see where the orb is on the map, so we're going to come around and try to stop the orb carrier from running it. You can see our teammate going down there. We got hit by the supply drop as well, which basically stopped us from being able to chase down the player. We come in there and hit him with a fear bomb to slow him down a little bit, trying to bank around and get a good angle. So we get the number 2 for the immobilization and the cripple on him, and knock him down. We tried to follow up with throw boulders, but it was a little bit early and we missed. It was obstructed by the edge of that staircase. Come back down now, stunning him, just basically stopping him from running this orb as much as possible. The orb does have a timer on it, so if it's not been captured in a certain amount of time, I think it's about 30 seconds, it will reset just like that. So it's he's now lost the orb and it's gone back to the centre of the map. So we've done our job perfectly well there and stopped doing what he wanted to do. So I'm sure you're pretty much understanding now how this build works and how it formulates its attacks and how you can use it to knock players off ledges and that kind of thing. Lots of ability to do all that kind of stuff. But this last clip is just a quite interesting one. It's a little bit of a 1v2, so it's us trying to take on the orb carrier and his escort as well. So we're going to try and take on both these players at the same time, which of course is more difficult. This fight's really important though. We're right towards the end of the match at the moment. We're literally a few points from winning, but if they manage to get that orb back, that will put them in a position where they might actually be able to win the game as well. So we're trying to triple cap, and I'm trying to slow this orb carrier down as much as possible. Using chill there to slow him down even more, coming in with a hammer for the stun, and then another knockback, knocking him down the staircase, making it even harder for him to move away. Throw boulders and mobilising him, even though we get stunned after it, we managed to get our attack off first. Trying to chase him down a little bit again, switching to our rifle there. Rifle 2 skill, another immobilization and cripple, slowing him down even more, and use our rifle butt there to knock him down, and we triple cap, control all 3 nodes, and our teammate can stop the orb carrier from getting onto that node, and we take the victory even though we go down. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.